Hello, and welcome to the Thyroid Warrior podcast. I'm Ebony, and I'm here as your wellness facilitator. I'm going to be sharing my experiences in managing Hashimoto's disease, and I really hope that it'll help you on your personal journey. Keep in mind, however, this does not substitute as medical advice. It is only for your information and motivational purposes only. Now, let's get started. Hello, friends. Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. I'm so happy to be back for this week's episode. And here, I really want to talk about how our lifestyle plays a role in our health. And I think one of the biggest things that we tend to forget is even though I may have an autoimmune disease, a chronic condition, or any type of dis-ease in the body, that doesn't mean that I can't do something about it. It doesn't mean that I can't work to live the best possible life that I can in that moment. And I think that when it comes to certain providers, I'll say, they may have a very rigid idea or definition of what quote unquote good health is and what that can look like. And there are a lot of providers from the school of thought that your lifestyle can be a really good thing in terms of building up those habits to help you fight, prevent, or navigate healing from said conditions. Now, obviously, you will need to meet with your particular provider to discuss what that can look like for you. But I want to share some of the experiences that I have been going through over the last couple of months in an effort to be able to just share with you what's out there and also what's possible and how you can take steps to be able to get some of that care. So when it comes to lifestyle medicine itself, it really and truly is an entire discipline of medicine. It is something that is, I wouldn't say it's new per se, but there is an organization called the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, and you can actually go on their website to be able to find more information about finding a lifestyle medicine provider. And this organization is composed of a group of healthcare professionals that really want to change the way that we take care of patients and people. And one of the biggest things is that there used to be a triple aim when it comes to health outcomes for a population of people, but they've since added two more areas. So this quintuple aim, so to speak, it really wants to look at how do we have better health outcomes? How do we reduce costs? How do we have more patient satisfaction as it relates to us as individuals? And honestly, how do we take care of the providers that are taking care of us? And finally, looking at the health equity lens. And we're going to talk about what that looks like in later episodes, because I just want to go on a quick tangent. I think that when we think about health equity, we're only looking at one subset of people, and that's not necessarily the case. There's so much nuance when it comes to health equity. There's so much nuance when it comes to health literacy, about digital health and access to those things. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be a Black or brown person in order to be negatively impacted by health equity issues, although they may make up a higher proportion of that in some instances. But you can still have issues with accessing your healthcare provider, with appointments, with all these things. So we'll get into that later. But for right now, I wanted to just share that overview of the quintuple aim, as it's called, and to hopefully just give you hope that there are people out there who really and truly want to look at our health differently. And when you think about lifestyle medicine from a definition perspective, it's a specialty of medicine. It's just like gastroenterology. It's like looking at ophthalmology. It's that subset of a specialty or an area of medicine in which these healthcare providers are using evidence-based principles, but they're also looking at the whole person, as well as how do I help this person from a lifestyle perspective be able to get better. And there are kind of 6 pillars as it relates to lifestyle medicine. It's looking at whole foods, looking at eating more plants, physical activity. How do we get more sleep? How do we actually get more active from a physical perspective? Making sure that we're reducing our interaction as it relates to substances that don't necessarily help us. Think about drugs, smoking, drinking too much, vaping, all the things, and really and truly helping to enhance or increase our level of social connectivity and community. And they also look at how do I prevent these things from occurring? Because I don't know about you, but sometimes when I go to the doctor, either myself or I have been hearing loved ones talk about their experiences, a lot of it has been from the perspective of, okay, you have high blood pressure, I'm going to give you this medication, it's going to treat that high blood pressure, and that's it. Or you have cancer, we're going to focus on the cancer, and that's it. And a lot of times, especially from having to take any kind of medication or have a treatment or an infusion, a lot of times that's impacting our entire body. It's targeting that thing, but it's also impacting our additional biological processes that make us who we are and help us to function. So I love this aspect of care. And not only have I been looking into finding a lifestyle medicine from a primary care perspective, but I've also done other treatment modalities that have been helping me, including Chinese medicine, acupuncture. I started doing massage therapy. I started chiropractic care and really exploring what those look like and creating this care team that is very supportive, and they know about what I'm doing. They also know that I'm studying herbalism. They know that I'm an aromatherapist. And they understand that I'm not going to do anything to hurt myself, nor am I going to go out and start looking at all the things online, which is very easy to do, and trying all those things because it's harmful for me in my case. But what I want to encourage you to do or look at or explore is, while I may have this one perspective of how to take care of myself or how to help me live that happy, healthy, and joy-filled life, are there others? And it's nothing wrong with exploring those things. Obviously, always do your research. But what I found is that when I remove that cloud I have, and honestly, in my case, I was just ignorant to what was possible. And I had to just take some time to research it, to explore it, to understand how that particular therapy can help me. And even stretching has been so beneficial for me. And it's helped my anxiety. It's helped me on those days when I feel just really, really depressed, when my joints are hurting. And because all of those things are being done in order to support me, I, as a whole person, am starting to feel better. And I'm not going to go into a lot of detail in terms of what each of those things are because I don't want to influence your perspective of those things or just scare you because some people may have fear about needles or different things. So I don't want to cause harm unknowingly, but what I will say is when I actually took the time to explore these things and I've been doing them, my posture has improved, my sleep has improved. But the one thing that I also want to share with you that I think is so important is when you start looking at these lifestyle things, you also have to take a look and explore that mental component of your health. And I have been playing around with my frequency of therapy, for example, and I realized that because so much is changing for me, I told my therapist, I was like, listen, I can't go once a month without seeing you. I'm sorry. I'm grateful that I have insurance and that we can kind of explore and play with that. But because I'm uncovering and unearthing so much as it relates to past traumas, past beliefs, self-limiting beliefs, wrestling with who I am as a person and what role I play in this world, it's hard. And I just want to be honest about how difficult all of this is. And I literally just posted something on social media asking the question about how are your New Year's resolution plans going? And now is about that time when people tend to kind of fall off as it relates to those plans. And I just want to encourage you and say that if you have quote unquote fallen off, don't be afraid to get back on. And I often tell the people that I work with, listen, it is not an all or none. You don't have to say, I'm going to eat only fruits and vegetables and, pasture raised beef 7 days out of the week. That may not be possible for you. When I look at these prices of food, I'm like, oh, sweetheart, no, baby, no. That is not realistic because stuff is just expensive. And our jobs, our income, the things that we have to do in order to pay for said things is not keeping up. So if you have to eat out and eat fast food, that's okay. Or if you have to get a convenience food until you work your way up to doing something different, that is fine. And like I tell people all the time, if you have to start off with just prepping snacks, prep the snacks. If you can only cook one meal every week, start with cooking one meal every week until you get in the habit of cooking that one meal. And then you can work on, okay, I'm going to do 2 meals. And it doesn't have to be lunch. Maybe it could be dinner. Maybe it could be breakfast because you're not someone that is used to having breakfast. That could be an adjustment for you. So it's asking yourself the questions of, what can I do? What is realistic for me? Not what social media tells me, not what this TV show tells me, not the harmful words that a family member or loved one can tell me because they think I should lose weight and pull at my clothes. Like, none of that. What can I do? That's what's most important. And then when you think about what can I do, how do you make sure that you, in the same vein, are working to become more aware of what makes me happy? What do I like to eat? And for you, you may like to have a fried chicken sandwich or a Cobb salad with a whole bunch of ranch dressing. Okay. While today that may be your circumstance, 3 weeks from now, maybe it's not. Maybe you explore what that looks like to be able to have a salad with that chicken sandwich, or when you think about why am I putting so much ranch dressing on my food, perhaps like me, you may not have grown up eating a lot of fresh vegetables or salads. And I may or may not have eaten a lot of iceberg lettuce in my day, and the only way that it tastes good is to drown it with salad dressing. But as I got older, I've learned there are a lot of different options out there for me when it comes to lettuce. Didn't know that growing up because I didn't have access to those things, so I just didn't know. And that's what I want to apply to this principle. Again, explore what that looks like over time. We're about to get into the spring and the summer, there are going to be food festivals. Maybe go to one that you've never been to before, or go explore a different culture's food, because I'm gonna tell you, I absolutely love Indian food, Pakistani food. I love Thai food. I love Greek food. Every culture has this incredible and beautiful blend of how they incorporate spices and flavor with tofu, for example. And in the past, I was like, I don't like the texture of tofu, or I didn't like Brussels sprouts, for example, but I just didn't know how to season them. When I think about Mexican food or Japanese food, and I think about Korean food and just how the traditional flavors and things have been blended together, it just makes me so happy as I encounter how those flavors dance across my palate. I love poetry, can you tell? So it's can you go and taste some of that food, whereas you'll get a small portion so you don't have to worry about wasting it, and you can learn something new at the same time. That is a very easy way to approach it. One of the things I miss about living in New York is that I had all of these different restaurants that celebrated different cultures and different foods, and I can taste everything all the time, and it was beautiful. Being in the DC area and the DMV area, there are so many different cultural cuisines that I can try. You may not have that, and that's okay too, but can you go to a grocery store and look at go down the frozen aisle section and see what different foods are there? We have a lot of options now. It's just sometimes you have to get creative in terms of how you explore them. And again, that was something that I wasn't quite used to, but I've learned those things, and I want to be able to share that with you. So I just want to close by saying this. It's hard out here for everyone. And I want you to be able to find a healthcare professional that can support you in these goals, to find a way to incorporate different habits and patterns that help you feel your best self. And finally, as you're looking to explore what lifestyle medicine can be, what alternative medication, or not even medication, but modalities that you can have in order to improve your health. 3, the final thing that I want to encourage you about is when you're looking for a healthcare provider, either ask your current healthcare system if they have a lifestyle medicine department, or go to the American College of Lifestyle Medicine and look up their provider directory to see if you can find a provider in your area that practices lifestyle medicine, because you deserve to feel better. Nobody should have to live in pain. No one. But I understand that there are circumstances outside of you that make it difficult for you to be able to get the resources that you need. But if I can play a small part in giving you the resources or the tips to be able to help you, I'm all about it. So with that, be happy, be whole, and be well. Take care. Okay, thyroid warriors, get out there and take things one step at a time. Remember, reflect on your triumphs, know that you are doing your best, and do what you need to do in order to be well.
I would absolutely love it if you subscribe to this podcast and share this episode with a friend. And don't forget, leave me a review. I read those and try very hard to improve the show based upon your feedback. So I'd love to hear from you. And with that, be happy, be whole, and be well. Take care.